time last time they got together, so expectations are high for another thrilling finish here. Let's take a look at our starting lineups. And for the visitors, Boise State, Max Rice, they've been on his case since the layup lines. They are keyed up to try and disrupt him.
Max has been on fire lately from beyond the arc. He's a gamer. He makes winning plays. When his shot is falling, this team's tough to beat.
Great Asabor. He is, as his name would suggest, downright great. One of the best in the league, and is making a case here to be among those big postseason awards in the Mountain West for this Utah State team that quite literally has come out of nowhere. Picked 9th in the preseason poll, number 22 in the country, with their sights set on the postseason, but looking to bounce back after a couple of losses as we are underway here in Logan, Utah. Utah State will control. Our officials, Tony Padilla, Matthew Ruckeson, and Kirk Smith, as we get underway. Immediately to Asabor, and he runs into Omar Stanley, the St. John's transfer. Second effort, Falslev playing well, flip it up, flip it in! Good start for the Aggies.
Well, they're going to try to establish Asabor on the box, but you've got to rebound. Boise State, one of the best in the country at that, but those are the toughness plays that they did not make the last time they were on this floor. They've got to come to the glass. They've got to play as physical as Boise State. That's hard to do. Three-point
play there for Falslev. Coach Danny Sprinkles said, look, I can deal with missed shots. He felt the effort wasn't there last time out in that loss to Nevada, 77-63, part of their first 2-game losing streak of the year. Stanley now inside, powers it home, going up over Isaac Johnson.
He's one of the most improved players in the country, not just the Mountain West, but he can play inside out. It's a big-time move.
Falslev dialed in early. He has all 6 for Utah State. Opening minute. Dagenhart will go to work now against Asabor. Rice lets fly. Long range, all good for Max Rice.
Boise State does such a nice job establishing the point, the post. They score a ton of points in the paint, but when they can kick it out to those open threes and knock it in, they are really difficult to handle.
Pouring it back inside to Asabor, and this time Stanley picks up the foul.
Well, there's the drive, there's the kick. Look at the crowd just lit up, and the double comes. You've got to make that double team pay. And Max Rice, he's been doing that a lot lately.
Max Rice, the 6th-year senior from Boise, the coach's son. The fans, they give him a pretty good ribbing as Asabor wheels inside and converts.
Well, Asabor won that battle before he caught the pass. He posted up hard, cleared out the defender. That's so easy for him.
It has been so tough to stop his scoring way up. The transfer from Montana State. Rice looking for more and coming up short. In transition. Not this time. Abo put it on the floor. Hard drive, and we'll get a whistle.
The great Asabor. You've got to battle him before he makes the catch. He will clear you out. Look at the space. He starts drop stepping, puts it off the glass. And then at the other end here, here's the drive. Yeah, I don't know, man. That's a play on in the Mountain West there, isn't it?
I think Isaac Johnson would agree with you. He picks up the foul. Chibuzo Abo, Texas Tech transfer, good on the first. We hit on it at the top. This Boise State team, you look at them, they're big, they're physical, everyone on the court aggressive. They will get into you, both on offense and defense.
Well, that's what makes them so tough, and they love playing on the road. And they're not afraid of the crowd, the competition, and you've got to play as tough as them.
Abo gonna bang down low with Asabor. Ran out of real estate, no problem.
He's so versatile, can hit the three as well as anybody, post up, offensive rebound, and he was not afraid to go right at the big guy.
Getting Asabor away from the hoop now. Falslev right around Rice and in. We told you Utah State coming off 2 straight losses. Boise State, they lost at Colorado State last time out. So each side here, as good as they've been, trying to find a way back to victory. Rice can't get the roll. Stanley, the aggressor down low, will get a tie-up.
Well, Utah State off to a pretty good start, but look at Abo. There's the little twist on the baseline. And in this extra pass, Utah State 4 out of 5 from the floor to start the game. You don't even recognize them from their loss against Nevada. They're playing with so much more energy, toughness, crowds into it. They're off to a heck of a start.
Stanley, he can shoot it and hits. So versatile. Omar Stanley rejuvenated here with this Bronco team.
He's only been 1 for his last 6 from beyond the arc, so that's a good sign. That's just really unfair when he's stepping out and hitting like that.
Good skip. Martinez all day. You mentioned the energy. Utah State Sprinkle said the opening 4 minutes, they didn't have it last time out, so that's obviously an area they're looking to work on here. They've come out very strong. A near shuffle. Instead, it's Abo. Aggies can break out. Martinez coast to coast. Keep it on the floor. No basket.
It's tough to score in the half court. You want to come up with these transition opportunities. Foul on the floor, but you like to see the aggressiveness of Martinez. He can hit the 3. He's got that mid-range game, and he's electric in the open court.
Martinez, the transfer, started at Utah, then a couple of years at Maryland. Played his high school ball in Southern California. A couple of changes now for Boise State, as Stanley and Rice will take a breather. See Jace Whiting come on, and Falstaff will look to go right at him. Not there. Also, Cam Martin has checked in, the 7th year graduate student. Here's Martin. Tries to go right at Osibor. Can't convert. He was a scorer. Injuries have limited some of those abilities as of late, but could still be dangerous. Johnson left clear. Just rims out. Aggies now 1 for 4 from downtown. Dagenhart, he'll let fly. Brown in transition, the dish to Osibor. Stripped on the way through, they'll say off his leg. And the ball going back to Boise State, and with that, we will hit the under 16 timeout. As you might expect, high energy to start. Broncos are up early. Join us on FS1 after the break. Buckets to be scored tomorrow as we bring you back inside the Glen Spectrum. Boise State leading by 1. Jess, let's take a look at our keys to the game.
Utah State's going to double the post, so Boise's got to kick it out for those 3-point shots. We know what they can do on the box, but they've got to make that double pay. They're going to keep rebounding the way that they rebound. For Utah State, points in the paint, that's what they live by. Great's got to be great. And then their coaching staff's told us today, we've got to have more than one guy. We have to have 4, 5, 6 guys step up and play well in this game, so bench play is critical.
You're spot on, and both coaches really echoed that. If you're going to win big games in the Mountain West, it can't be a one-man job. It has to be a collective. Double team there on Stanley. Osibor destroys that attempt from Whiting.
So the double team comes, they kick it out, Whiting ends up with it. The rotations have to be there. Great job by Osibor, helping his teammate out. You get beat on dribble penetration, and you knock it into the stands.
Shot clock down to 7 after that denial. They've got to go. Timer to 2. Stanley doesn't realize it, and they won't get a shot away.
Outstanding defense by the Aggies. Point guards for Boise State, you have to know the shot clock situation. Didn't let their teammates know. Turnover.
Coach Leon Rice, year 14, leading this Boise State program. Martinez Draws a double, doesn't matter, but again, they'll say no basket. He was fouled on the way through.
This is what the Aggies want to do. They want to get downhill on those ball screens. Coaches said they were playing too soft, turning the corner over the last couple games. That's exactly what you want to do. Collapse the paint, at least pick up the whistle.
And it's that great matchup of contrasting styles. You've got the second best scoring offense in the Mountain West, Utah State, against the second best scoring defense in Boise State.
Utah State only 130 points combined over the last two, so they've got to find a way to get easier baskets. And as it is every night in this league, oh, by the way, it's Boise State next on the schedule, right? One of the top defensive teams in the league and an elite offensive rebounding team.
Coach Sprinkle said, I don't even want to look down the calendar. It just creates too much anxiety to think about what's next when you have things like this right in front of you. Abo back in, looking to go back to work.
Abo's got to post up Martinez. We'll keep our eye on that matchup.
Martin looking to just battle against Khalifa Sacco down low, and it's effective. He draws the foul.
We'll see, this time they chose not to double Martin. So it's one-on-one action. He attacks the defense, goes up, gets hit on the arm, and that's the pick your poison decision for Coach Sprinkle and company. They can't afford to pick up fouls. They don't have a ton of depth. That's why they double. In that case, they didn't, and they're going to the foul line to make them pay for it.
And that breaks a long drought for both sides. Boise State had been nearing 3 minutes without getting anything to go through the basket. Utah State scoreless in about 3:15. So Martin able to convert, spent time at Kansas, 3 excellent years at Missouri Southern State, and now here with Boise State.
Let's see, Brown's got to turn the corner more on these ball screens. He's settling.
Draws Martin out, can't knock down the 3, a near 4-point play opportunity.
Just an old school move by Brown. He is so good at making everyone around him better. He can score as well, but he's a table setter. That's just a professional mindset there. Get the defense off their feet, jump into them, pick up the free throws.
Knocks down the first. Came with Coach Sprinkle and Great Osobor from Montana State, previously at Cal State Northridge. And in his 6th year, he's just a savvy veteran, has moves like that in his back pocket.
5th in the country in assist-to-turnover ratio. He's got weapons around him, but he's the type of guy everybody wants to play with.
And Sprinkle said these guys had other opportunities. They could have gone to bigger programs. They opted to come here, really believe in his coaching style.
Well, Abo's got to get down on the post, get established, draw doubles, and go to work. He is so big and strong. He can score down low on smaller guards.
Here is Abo. Tough stuff right in front of the Aggie bench. Deflected out, and they'll say last touch off of Boise State.
Well, they're trying to get it inside. Good defense. Looked like it ricocheted off his shin.
Yeah, that was all Khalifa Sacco, able to bat that off of Stanley as it rolled out of bounds. Falslev was hot to start. Into Osobor, they're so quick to double. An opportunity arises, and Falslev knocks down another triple in this first half. 11 points for Falslev, and for as bad as Utah State has been offensively the last couple of times out, he's been the bright spot. Anderson tries to answer. Good kick, Degenhart left free. Gets every piece of the rim, doesn't drop. Dangerous outlet. Anderson had the intercept, couldn't keep it in bounds.
Mason off to such a hot start. You're going to leave him that wide open. He's going to make you pay. His fingerprints are all over this game at both ends of the court.
And in the meantime, Boise State cannot find a way to convert a field goal north of 4 minutes now without a field goal, as Utah State has gone on a mini 6-0 run.
Well, they've had some decent looks. Those are just shots you have to knock down on the road. But Max came up with a great offensive rebound, kicked it out wide open. Degenhaus has to make him pay with that.
Osobor called for the shuffle. And that's been something he's been working on, trying to cut down on turnovers. Had 7 against San Jose State. Knows that can be an area that teams will try and use against him. Collapse, force the double, the triple. Timer to 15. Rice in a battle with Falslev, draws a double. Now he'll let fly. Same spot as before, different result. Falslev feeling it. Not this time. Off the back rim. He's now 4 of 6 from the field. Degenhaus able to slip past Osobor. Excellent help though. Hangs in that play and tips it away.
Well, 2 possessions in a row where great Osobor has been fantastic defensively, making all the right reads.
Trying to get him involved now on the block. Instead, Martinez. Step back. And a timeout is called. Ian Martinez. A difficult shot makes it look simple. 19-13. Utah State in front.
Ian Martinez, last 7 games, 17 points, 4 assists, 51% from 3, and that's on fire.
19-13, Utah State, the Stu Morrill fan club in the house. Big night for him. We'll talk about that more, but Mason Falslev off to a great start.
Oh, phenomenal start. The crowd's into it. He's driving the ball to the basket, knocking in open threes. He's already taken 6 shots, drilled 4 of them, 11 points, 2 out of 3 from beyond the arc. This is the type of effort they've got to have out of him. He is such a game changer. I love guys who want to play hard at both ends of the court.
Big part of the 9-0 run the Aggies are on to pull in front 19-13, their largest lead so far. Falslev, a great story, redshirt last year. That big stat about Utah State bringing back no points. He was part of the team last year, just did not play as a redshirt, previously served a mission for 2 years prior. Hadn't played competitive basketball at a high level in about 3 years. Impressive to see what he's doing as Rice is no good on the floater. Martinez probing that defense. It'll go back to the Broncos. Osobor into the Boise State bench.
Boise State, they've got to get Abo established on the post, and even if that double team comes, they can kick it out for open shots. But right now, he's hanging on the perimeter a little too much. He's got to use that athletic ability and that size. He has such an advantage with size and length over most defensive guards.
See if they can get him involved. Need someone to pick up the offensive mantle right now. It's not Roddy Anderson on that drive. So the ice-cold streak continues here for the Broncos. Osobor showing off the handles. So close. Degenhaus, always a good offensive option here for Boise State. Abo.
Nice.
With the left. Rice battling. Falslev comes up with it, works around Stanley. On the move, Falslev up and under. What a shot. And this is exactly what the Aggies wanted. Build a lead and get this crowd fired up. Stanley to quiet them.
Well, this Aggie defense is so locked in, hands up on shooters, hard hedging the ball screens, rebounding, getting out and running. Right now, the Broncos and their veteran team taking too many quick shots, a little bit rattled at the offensive end of the court.
Osobor back to work. Everything clicking for Utah State. Meanwhile, Boise State 0 for their last 11. Just when you can't find the basket, what do you do offensively?
The ball's got to go side to side. Everybody's got to get a touch. That's such a quick shot. That's too quick. You're just playing right into their hands, and Leon Rice right now going to go to the bench, come in with Martin and Whiting, try to change it up. But Mason Kozlov right now playing both ends, getting out and running. He's playing a little like John Stockton back in the day. And look at Osobor, so unorthodox. He doesn't just go up over his left shoulder. He spins, he rotates, he flips it up off the backboard. It's hard to scout him, even tougher to come out on the court and guard him.
6'8", 250 pounds, he just powers through contact to finish.
13th in the Mountain West in assist, believe it or not. So he's very unselfish as well. He feels those double teams and gets teammates involved.
A pause here for a review at the scorers table. There was a foul on that last play. And referees were looking to double check who the shooter would be on this foul. Looks as if they've settled on Omar Stanley. Aggies on a 13-0 run. Stanley looking to end that, or at least put a pause on it. Nothing working right now for the Broncos. They've been so excited at Stanley's development. Had a very high opinion of him coming over from St. John's. Coach Rice feels like he's lived up to what they expected.
He loves to watch film with the coaching staff. He adds so much value to the locker room, and when he entered the starting lineup, everything changed for the Broncos, but right now, they can't buy a basket.
This end of the court, so much more important now. They need to make sure the Aggies don't run away with this one. Under 10 to go in the first half. Osobor, and a rare miscue tonight.
Well, Boise State, good decision. They show a zone defense. The Aggies don't figure it out, and they settle for their big man taking a 16-footer. So that's a win. At the offensive end, it's got to go side to side. Let's see if all 5 of these guys can touch the ball, then play inside out.
Here's Jace Whiting back in. Getting some extended time here. Early on, averages about 15 minutes a game. Martin had space. Rice, he'll get a look. Finally, it drops through for the Broncos, and they go to the veteran, Max Rice, to get one back.
Just great job by the Broncos. Here's the 1-3-1, mixing up defenses, moving it side to side. All 5 Broncos touch the ball in that offensive possession. You got a dribble penetration here if you're Brown. Look for the baselines against this 1-3-1, and the lob is sometimes open.
Martinez is open. Almost seems to do better with the more difficult looks. Meanwhile, the follow is there from Isaac Johnson on the jump hook.
Isaac's such a tough matchup. He's a good three-point shooter, and he can take advantage of the switches by posting up smaller guards and forwards.
Goes 7 feet tall. Good backdoor from Whiting, and able to slip inside for 2. So Boise State a couple now in a row.
We talk about moving well without the basketball. Deceive the defense. They're looking for the handoff. You cut backdoor with integrity. And big number 31 finds you right in the pocket.
Whiting, part of the starting lineup earlier in the year. He still played a key role off the bench. Aduje.
That's a settle. That's not what you do against the 1-3-1. They want you to just move it a couple times and launch it. Great job making adjustments defensively. That's a tough shot by Max.
Trying to build on some of that momentum. Instead, the lob curls off the rim. Broncos on the attack. Whiting, that's blocked. Martinez, and now Utah State on the move. Osobor, he'll take it himself. Contact, no call. Johnson cleans it up.
Looked like Great Osborne got wiped out on that play. No call, and they get an easy one. But great job by Utah State again, getting out, running, forcing the action.
Degenhart wasn't ready for that one. Martin, he'll step back for three. Martinez, meanwhile, right down Main Street. He'll draw the foul.
Well, Johnson getting it done. Moving without the ball. Posting up even the big. That's a beautiful hook shot along the baseline, and then just cleaning up the easy one. It's the easiest one they'll have all year. Right now, the Aggies, the more aggressive team.
They love to give Max Rice a hard time here in Logan. Leon Rice laughing at some of the posters pregame. They take it all in good fun pretty much throughout.
A lot of signs against Max, but check out this backdoor cut by Jace Whiting. Cam Martin going to set up the dribble handoff. Jace reads Aduje overplaying it, gets backdoor. This is what he does, such high basketball IQ. If you're going to play against a defense that's playing this aggressively, like the Aggies are, jumping passing lanes, denying, use that against them and cut back door. Beautiful play. They've got to have more of that.
They just needed something, right? Someone had to try and make a move or try and show the Aggies a little something different. And this is a really good Boise State team. You're starting to get to that point of the year where you're thinking about resumes and looking towards the NCAA tournament. They've been the last 2 years. Come in to the weekend, 40 in the net rankings, 5 quad 1 wins. You mentioned some of their early season triumphs as well, just like Utah State. And such a deep team, a lot of experience. They're ready for battle.
They're just loaded with experience, and this is why they win on the road. You go back to the start of the 21 season, no one's won more Mountain West road games than the Broncos. It's experience, it's coaching, and it was fun talking to Coach Rice about they have specific routines. And, you know, if I'm a coach around the country looking to improve my wins on the road, I'm calling these guys because they have it figured out. And, yes, they're down in this game, but if you follow Bronco basketball, you know they're not out of it. They will get this thing tight, try to steal momentum going into halftime.
Well, we talked with him during the week as well, and said, what are the things that your good teams have always done? He said defense and rebounding, those always travel well. Or at least they're things you can control on the road. Andrew Meadow has come on. Stanley back in. Degenhart tries to step through. Crafty move there, drawing a foul against Sacco.
Yeah, they've been most effective when everyone touches the ball. They move it side to side, and then they attack. And number 2 is one of the best in the business of drawing fouls, putting pressure on the defense. He got shoved a little on the drive, stuck with it, and then went through the arms to pick up the obvious foul.
Good on the first, and his scoring certainly gets a lot of accolades as Osibor returns. Degenhart, an all Mountain West first teamer last year, just over 16 points per game, but the Bronco staff raves about the impact he makes 360 degrees on this team, right? Can do so many things well, not just a scorer.
He plays both ends, loves to pass the ball. One of the best players in the country in the last 10 minutes of games. And those are the types of plays when you're not playing well. You got to get to the free throw line, calm this crowd down, slow the game down. Again, Brown's got to get dribble penetration against this 1-3-1. Work the baselines. That's where the weakness is. There you go.
Foul line jumper. Easy one for Johnson.
Whether with the pass or the dribble, if you can get deep into the paint, it's hard to find shooters when you're closing out.
That'll stay on this end of the court. Degenhart against Osibor. Two of the best in the Mountain West going to work. Shot clock to 7 for the Broncos. High arcing foul line jumper, and Roddy Anderson will draw a trip to the line.
Great Osobor. We were talking earlier. His defense has been so stellar in this game. His basketball IQ has been off the charts, but those are the ones he does not want to pick up. They just don't have enough depth behind him. You can live with fouls at the rim, but not on mid-range jumpers.
And his evolution from last year at Montana State, he was the top reserve in the Big Sky on that NCAA tourney team, and now has quickly come into a higher level league and shows he is as good at any level in college basketball.
Danny Sprinkle and his guys have done such a good job with him. He's in excellent shape for a guy that size. His footwork's impeccable, and they run a ton of sets to put him in comfortable positions.
Johnson thought about that backdoor lob. They'll go the other way, and a little too high for Martinez.
Well, I think you can live with that if you're the Aggies. That's where the weakness is. The timing has to be a little bit better, but this 1-3-1 the Broncos throw at you, it's very complicated. Helped them win the game a few games ago at the pit. And New Mexico was very confused by it. And you got Abo out front. He is so tough and so long, it's hard to crack it.
Stanley just powers right past Johnson. And so the Aggies still with a comfortable lead here, but it certainly feels as if the Broncos have weathered the storm a bit as Falslep slips inside. Stanley draws out Johnson, looking to work to the basket once more, changes the side of the hoop, gets the same result. A whistle and a block.
Stanley, so versatile. Can hit the three, put it on the floor. Not many fives or fours can stay with him, uses the left hand. It's one of the great stories in college basketball. Wanted to get better, wanted to become a star, and has put in the work to become that.
From a little under 5 points per game a year ago to now near 13 points per game, and such an expanded role on this Boise State team. And you hit on it, fills so many categories. Can shoot from the outside, gritty down low, aggressive at the rim, everything really you'd want. Aggies bring on Carson Templin for the first time, the freshman out of Texas. And Isaac Johnson, a well-deserved cheer, takes a breather with 8 points so far. Under 4 to play, first half. Utah State got this crowd involved, built a double-figure lead, and they've been holding strong since. Degenhardt steps around Osobor, gets his own rebound, can't clean that up. Two great looks in close for Degenhardt, one of the top scorers in the Mountain West. Brown. Shot clock to 10. Brown will let fly. Fading and hitting from 3. (38-25). Aggies starting to retake that momentum after it seemed as if the Broncos had slowed things down a bit with their defensive switches. It'll be a foul out on the perimeter as Stanley has been the aggressor right now for the visitors.
Just look at the hustle. Everybody's scrapping for it. Great comes up with it. He's not going to let it go, and this is just good D and elite O. Mr. Brown, what could Brown do for you?
A legend has returned to Logan. Stu Morrill recognized tonight, naming the court in his honor. Also some of the past championship teams here at Utah State being recognized. And the chance of Stu going out all over the Glen spectrum. And coming up at the half, we'll have first half highlights and stats from our game. We'll also take you to our Los Angeles studios where Rob Stone, Donnie Marshall, and Laval Jordan will have highlights from around the country, including a Big 12 showdown between number 13 Baylor and 4th-ranked Kansas, number 1 UConn at Georgetown, and 3rd-ranked North Carolina visiting Miami. All this and more coming up at the half. Were you doing the Stu?
There's so much tradition here,
yeah.
right? So many legendary coaches. These guys expect to play in the NCAA tournament every single year. They win conference titles, and they got another great team. Both of these teams feel like they can win this league, and they're going to both be in the NCAA tournament, but they're not thinking about that right now.
Good tip, Degenhardt flying in.
Well, the story of this game so far, this Aggie defense, it has been so stout. They're swarming to the ball, and that's too easy.
Asabor using the basket as a shield, draws a foul.
Just tough baskets to come by for the Broncos. Shooting 30%, but there's the pump fake and the power. We talked about the slick moves that he has around the rim. A guy that big should not be able to move that well.
Yeah, he is deceivingly athletic, versatile. You know he's a big man. You know he's going to be difficult down low, but you see some of the highlights from him across the season, showing off the dribble, the moves. As you said, doesn't do always the traditional drive or up fake down low. Kind of keep people guessing, makes it so challenging. Talked about the impact of this game. Winner will take sole possession of first place for the time being in the Mountain West because UNLV upsetting New Mexico. I'm not sure if anything's an upset here in the Mountain West where everyone can beat each other. Offensive foul as Stanley was trying to work past Templin.
Well, they've been calling this chicken wing consistently this year all across the country. Let's see it. There it is, just an easy call. And Stanley wanting to make something happen, and you put your hand out like that. But if you're the Boise State Broncos, Abo has Brown guarding him, and they are just not taking advantage of that size right now. They've got to get number 11 on the post and play out of him.
Abo just 3 points, 1 for 5 from the field. Coming up on the 2-minute mark here. Stanley goes out with his 3rd personal. So that's a big number on one of the big stars for the Broncos. Brown left free. Falslev, right place, right time. Brown working with Asabor. Tried to thread that needle, instead looking to go upstairs and a little too high on that dish.
Well, Brown got the switch that he wanted. Here it is. And there's the mismatch. Just a little too much on that pass. Great idea, poor execution.
Rice can't answer. Meadow. Abo in the mix there. Falslev comes up with it. Brown's okay. Martinez in transition. Asabor diving into the bench to keep that one alive. Meantime, Broncos 3 of 16 from beyond the arc.
16 threes, that's way too many attempts right now. Got to get some post touches. That's where they make their living all season long, right down there in the paint. There you go, that's a foul.
And one, Degenhardt. Exactly what they needed.
Yeah, this is a team that's not easily rattled on the road, but the Mountain West will do that to you. 16 threes, way too many. Get back to points in the paint. Do what you do best. Bully guys around the rim, and then play inside out when the double comes. Great execution by Degenhardt. Keep doing that. That's what they've got to keep doing.
Boise State, middle of the pack in the Mountain West from downtown, 5th in the league, 35%. Right now, just 18%, and so moving to the basket, a good idea as Degenhardt tries to finish off the three-point play, and he does exactly that as we come up on 1 minute to go in this first half.
Well, the Broncos 21st in the country in post upset, so that's where they make their living. That's what they're great at. And I like the aggressiveness taking it to the rim right there, because this Aggie defense has been so good. Open looks have been tough to come by.
Timeout called here just under a minute to go. A 9-point lead for the Aggies, and kind of had this feeling throughout the first half when the Aggies are getting going and the crowd's getting into it, and the Broncos just kind of hold it down and not let this one get too far away.
That's what that experience comes in. I mean, we mentioned it before. No one wins more on the road in the Mountain West than Boise State, and there are the standings. So much on the line tonight. Huge game, must-win feeling for both teams. But you look at the dominance of this league. 5 teams in the top 50 of the net. Nevada, what a turnaround week that they have had. I mean, Steve Alford a week ago was the sickest man in the Mountain West. Now he's in the basement tonight working on the golf simulator, got the Pro V1s out, feeling like they're the best team in the country. I mean, this league is such a challenge every single night, and you get great opportunities ahead of you. We got another. This has been a war. It's been so fun to watch, but Utah State playing so much harder than they did the last time out.
You see those standings, winner tonight, first one to 8 wins in the Mountain West, so they'll hold first place at least to start the week off. Went to overtime last time they got together in Boise, a win for Utah State. Tough shot here. Good result. Aduje fading and hitting.
Well, he was perfect from the floor the last time these two teams played. 6 out of 6 and 5 for 5 from the free throw line, 18 points. So that's what he does. And it's hard to do that against Boise State.
Slight difference, shot and game clock here as we work our way towards halftime. Abo on the move, right at Martinez, can't finish, gets the rebound, blocked from behind, a major swat from Aduje. Shot clock is off, final 7 seconds. Aggies looking to finish the half with a flourish. Brown lost his footing. At the horn, Martinez, no good. And that's all for the opening 20 here in Logan. Aggies holding serve, looking to sweep the series with the Broncos out to an 11-point edge at the break. Welcome back to Logan. So many great ski resorts in Utah. Snow still on the ground right outside of campus here. Special moment at the half. The legendary coach Stu Morrill honored the Glen Spectrum Court, now known as Stu Morrill Court. More than 400 wins in his time at Utah State. A lot of alumni, former head coaches on hand here tonight as we look at some of our first half numbers. No surprise, Jess, all in favor of the home team.
Well, Coach Sprinkle told us we need to have everybody contributing. 5 Aggies with at least 5 points, and their defense has been as good as it's been all year. Boise State settling for 3-point shots. They've got to establish the post. But what an effort by Utah State. The toughness, the tenacity, that's what they were looking for in this first half, and you got to give them an A+.
And it's the team that continues to surprise, and Coach Sprinkle keeps getting asked the question, how are you guys doing it? And he kind of laughs. I don't totally have the answer, but he knows that part of it is everyone has bought in.
No question, and that's why we were talking before. He's got to be high on that list of National Coach of the Year candidates at this point in the year.
And Coach Sprinkle already earning the Jim Phelan Midseason Award. We talk about coaching honors in honor of the former legendary Mount St. Mary's coach. And so, as you said, certainly in the conversation for Mountain West and nationally as well when you look at the job that he's done.
Great Osborne played almost 20 minutes in that first half. Stayed out of foul trouble. He is such a load, such a difficult problem to solve.
Speaking of awards, he's on the Karl Malone award list, one of the best power forwards in the game. This is what happens when you get out to a 19-4 start. Brown coming to pester Stanley. Still plenty of time in this possession as we are underway here, second half. Degenhart patiently going to work and draws the foul.
Well, you know what they talked about during halftime? Let's get this post established. There's a couple crab dribbles. Johnson gets displaced, and it's a tough call against Johnson, but Degenhart, he is so good at parading to the free throw line They're going to try to chip away, but you notice no bad threes on this first possession.
Yeah, that was an area they really struggled. 3 of 16 in the first half, and noted some of those shots felt a little rushed. They've now gone back to some of their bread and butter here, and it's working. Degenhart can't hit on the second. A tangle on the way down. Abo and Johnson. See if they can separate everyone.
Yeah, just a couple guys playing hard. They get tangled up. Anytime the arms lock like that, they're going to go over and review it.
And that's exactly what is going to happen here. Each coach stating their case. So who did it first, who did it last, right? The hook comes initially from Abo, and then Johnson returns the favor, and they tumble.
Yeah, they're just both hooked up. That's a really tough one. The hook on a hold call goes back to Isaac Haas, got his shoulder injured a few years ago in the NCAA tournament, and now it's just we're spending too much time over at the monitor on plays like that. Those are just stop it, play on. This is really difficult. Look, they're both right there locked up. They just both need to release and play on, but now they go to the floor. I don't know what they're going to do with this one. This is
perhaps a double foul. To your point, it'd be nice if they just said, all right, get up.
Just get up and
let's
play
go.
on.
Keep it going. Mentioned this now for first place in the Mountain West with the UNLV win earlier tonight. Broncos at 7-3, Utah State 7-3. As the gauntlet that is the Mountain West continues on.
The league is so tough. It's so fun to watch, and everybody around the country is starting to tune in. When people are staying up late, these battles are so entertaining, and great coaching, excellent players. This is going to be a historic year for the league, and all these teams at the top, they can do what San Diego State did last year. They can make a deep run.
And a double hook and hold is the call here. They're informing the scorers table. No free throws necessary.
Yeah, by the letter of the law, these guys, they don't let each other go. They dance down the floor, go to the ground. Double fouls, offsetting penalties. Go 49ers. Play on.
1st and 10. Let's do it again. That'll count as a team foul as well for each side.
Utah State with a ton of sets. And you know Osibor is going to come from his side of the floor to the other side and post up hard. They're going to want to run this right through him.
Anderson gives some light backcourt pressure. Falslev bumped on the way by Degenhart.
Osibor with the hand up. Whenever he hands off like this, he is going to post up on the opposite side. Degenhart hedged hard, got away with it on the first part, but then puts his hand right on the shoulder. Easy call. But if you look at the space right there, Osibor was going to come across, and they were going to whip it inside to him. Let's see if they come back to that.
That was smart by Falslev. Just kind of felt Degenhart's hip into him and used it to his advantage. Similar look. Falslev takes it himself. High off the glass. He's got the touch. 17 points for Falslev. It leads everybody. Degenhart to answer. The three ball continues to be the Achilles heel tonight for the Broncos. Now 3 of 17 from long range. Brown spinning and winning. Rice, who answers this time for the Broncos. Stanley tries to step through a double.
Well, you won't see a prettier drive all season long. This is good defense. Look how high he puts that up on the backboard as he's falling in to the stands. And then Brown, you talk about a league that's loaded with veteran guards who can play. I mean, he's right there in the conversation as one of the best. And Stevens at Colorado State obviously leads the pack, but he has been so good, Brown, in this game at both ends.
So close to the theft, but instead, monster triple from Roddy Anderson just to get something going from downtown for Boise State.
He's an emotional leader. He gets into it with the student section. That is a monster shot. Maybe that's the one that gives them a spurt offensively. Finally, one goes down from beyond the arc.
Anderson, the UC San Diego transfer. Just the fourth three the Broncos have made tonight. Martinez draws a crowd. He's good at the difficult shots. Couldn't get that one to go.
Yeah, a little too difficult right there. He settled.
A high degree. Abo, you've been looking for him to get involved.
Well, he's got to post up Brown. He's got to get inside and go to work on these smaller guards. He's hanging out on the perimeter.
Stanley. Too strong. And the volleyball tap there from Abo. To no avail. Brown trying to work there with Sacco. Asabor thought about the three, around the back to the hoop. Offensive foul. Degenhart stands in to take the charge. Asabor can't believe it.
Well, it looked like he extended his arm right at the beginning of that move, and that's what they're going to call if he did.
Fans here got to look at the replay. And
they didn't like it, huh?
No, sir.
There he comes. Shot fake. It's a tough one against the big fella.
One good charge deserves another. Brown standing in to take the hit on this end. And now a technical foul. Leon Rice can't believe it. Technical free throws here for Martinez. 83% from the line. Technical goes on Leon Rice, and just shaking his head.
Well, we were talking to him before the game. We told him, make sure you don't get thrown out of this game, right?
You gave him that wise advice.
I mean, just emotions running high, so much on the line. Both of these teams outstanding. He's fighting for his guys, but
largest lead of the night right now for Utah State, 47-34. Rice knows how hard it is to win in this league as Anderson goes down. Falslev right to the hoop, and he's tied his career high with 19. Timeout called. Mason Falslev leading the way, 19 points. Aggies are rolling. Spectrum Magic underway.
well, you can see where Leon Rice is a little upset about this. This point guard gets wiped out, no call. There it is one more time, puts the shoulder into him. But Mason doesn't care. He pushes it to the other end, playing the best game of his career, guarding, running, attacking the rim. He has been the star of stars so far tonight.
19 points, ties his career high. We told you about all the time he spent away from basketball during that mission over a year in Brazil. He said during that time, 3 total days of basketball were played, and it wasn't basketball at this caliber. He had the redshirt year last year to kind of get his legs back, if you will. And are they thrilled to have him or what?
Well, he just looks so explosive, so fresh. He knows what's at stake in this game. And it's really been his defense. I mean, he's going to get a lot of credit so far for his offense, but defensively, he blows up so many sets that opponents are trying to run. He denies the wing. You keep your eye on him off the ball over here. Having a fun conversation with Max Rice right now, but he's going to deny him the ball and take him out of the play.
Anderson thought about a triple there for a moment. Sprinkle said Falslev benefited by being coached by Coach Odom last year. And off to VCU as Danny Sprinkle came here to Logan. Coming up on 16 minutes to play, second half. Anderson, crafty step through, back to Rice, loaded up and hit, and Max Rice, first we've heard from him in some time. He can be a difference maker for this Boise State team in a huge way.
What a massive shot.
All Mountain West pick. Now in his 6th year. Osobor probing the defense, and Rice there for the corral. Tries to go inside. Osobor, the takeaway. Brown, the breakout. The layup is there. Brown now in double figures, 10 points, 6 boards, a couple of assists. His usual well-rounded impact. Abo, well, that's what you've been calling for.
I just think he can get that anytime he wants it against these smaller guards for the Aggies. When he's on the perimeter, it's Utah State's advantage.
Just the second made bucket for Abo. Osobor directing traffic from the block. Brown, tough shot, trying to hang and hit. Martin's back in, able to grab that board. Abo looking for the work against Falslev. Good swing, Anderson all day. Barely draws anything, but Martin cleans it up. Big finish.
Weight room rebound for Cam Martin. It all started with Abo setting up on the post, drawing the double team, getting the defense to rotate. They had a wide open three, cleaned up the boards.
Martin, such a prolific scorer at the D2 level. Shoulder injuries have limited what he can do here as Martinez steps through, counted and one.
Danny Sprinkle was on his guys today. When you turn the corner, you can't be soft. You have to get downhill and take the hit they have in this one.
The biggest day in racing just got bigger as Grand Marshal Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson will kick off the Daytona 500. The Great American Race returns February 18th, only on Fox. Utah State near unbeatable here at home the last couple of years, and you see why they are so tough. When you come into this building, the atmosphere is electric.
This is one of the best places I've ever been. A beautiful city. You got the mountains surrounding you. You can see why kids want to come here. They have such a deep tradition. All these former players coming back to honor the coach. Danny Sprinkle, the perfect hire, just at the right time. I mean, they didn't have any returning points, any assists, any rebounds. But he was disappointed in their effort and their toughness the last time out. He told us he showed his team 53 clips from the last game that were not acceptable for wearing this uniform, and they have responded. I mean, they have been the aggressor. They've taken the fight to the Broncos at both ends of the court.
And he said normally this time of year, 5 or 6 clips, not north of 50.
And they played so hard all season long, and that was an aberration, but you wouldn't tell it by watching the first part of this game. But if you're Boise State, you're still within striking distance. Got to continue to move the ball side to side, play through the post. You still have to take the threes when they're open, but you don't want to initiate with the three.
And that shot, by and large, just hasn't been falling. This Utah State team, we know they average 81 points per game coming in, so to have them parked here at 53, there are some silver linings for the Broncos right now.
And you got to keep your eyes on Max Rice. I mean, Our producer, Bobby Hayden, and I just saw him go for 35 at New Mexico, so he can get them in a hurry.
Degenhart, he can fill it up as well, but coming up short there. And we just showed you how dominant Utah State is at home. Boise State has done well in some tough road environments. You talked about it, right? Picking up some of those wins. New Mexico, Nevada, not easy places to play, and they have come away the victors. Quick double on Falslev, and the takeaway. Anderson, a foot race to the hoop, hammer down with the right, trying to energize this Bronco contingent.
Well, they just blitzed that ball screen, blew it up with the double. You get out, and finally an easy basket in transition.
And there have been very few of those. We'll get a travel on Osobor.
You look high on this action. They blow it up with the double, and that's just good hands. He's got such speed, and wow, that is a nice flush. And then they come back, force the turnovers. Huge possession here for Boise State to cut this to 8.
Backdoor, Degenhart, a little bobble, otherwise that was going to be a layup. Osobor stuffs that effort. Osobor in deep, good kick, Martinez. Brown floating and hitting. The extra pass, unselfish work from the Aggies. Moving screen.
So Degenhart gets this ball inside. You cannot challenge number 1 for the Aggies. That's just a unwise decision, and then you come to the other end, the extra pass. We talked about it. The aggressiveness of getting downhill, getting to the rim. That was a huge turn of events. Boise State with an opportunity to cut it to 8. The defense for the Aggies steps up and steal momentum back.
So 3 fouls now on Cam Martin, 3 on Omar Stanley. Some of the bigs here on Boise State getting into foul trouble. A review of the fouls right now at the scores table, so we'll update you there on any changes. We play on. We approach 12 minutes, second half. Martinez. Broncos looking to swarm that basketball. Tries to find Osobor. Shot clock to 4. Brown. The bailout. (58-43). Didn't seem to be much working on that possession for the Aggies. They find a way. Brown with 15. Martin goes right around Johnson. As we're nearing the halfway point of the second half, Broncos are going to need to put something concerted together. That's not helping. Isaac Johnson showing off his versatility. $16-point lead. The new high water mark tonight. Abo. And the Aggies now in control. They'll slow things down for the moment. Brown draws a crowd. Osobor over Martin. A whistle.
Well, Utah State, they were challenged. Momentum started to swing. They wanted nothing to do with it. The defense leads to offense. The extra pass. There's the double. Osobor, underrated as a passer, kicks it out. Open 3. There's Brown. He refuses it. Johnson, what a mismatch. A stretch 4. He's got the crowd back in it.
Utah State leading Boise State 61-45, and doing it with defense, Jess.
Boise State only 35% from the floor, but so much of that has to do with the swarming defense of the Aggies. They have hands all over the place. They're raking down on dribble penetration. They're blocking shots, and it's led to a lot of action at the offensive end. They're playing with so much confidence, feeding off of this crowd, but it has not just been great Osobor protecting the rim. They've been in passing lanes. They're double teaming well. They're switching with integrity. And they're all over Max Rice.
The signs. There was one previously, he claps when the plane lands. Some funny stuff here from the crowd at the Glen Spectrum, and Rice, of course, not finding it all that fun. 61-45. You look at what the Broncos have done. They're shooting the basketball much better in this second half, 50%, and that'd be great if Utah State wasn't also shooting the basketball better in the second half at around 67%.
Yeah, Mike Burns, the defensive coordinator for Boise State, letting his guys know, look, we've got to win this next 4 minutes. It's going to start at the defensive end. The offense will come, but we have to get stops. And this is what they built their program on, defense and rebounding. Right now, the Aggies just getting to the rim uncontested.
Abba was free for a moment. Halfway through the second half, Stanley back in with 3 fouls. A whistle, and it's on the floor. 62-45, the deficit here for Boise State. There's been enough wild finishes in the Mountain West this year. Buzzer beaters, crazy comebacks. Utah State knows how that goes. UNLV, the game they had was a wild one. So you can be sure neither side feels like any deficit or lead is safe.
Oh, no question. I mean, every coach knows what can happen.
Degenhardt. Perhaps he can get going here. Knocks down his first 3 of the evening into double figures. The first Bronco with double figure points at 11. Right back. So what do you do with a 7-footer that can step out and drill threes and also give you hooks down low?
Yeah, there's not a lot you can do. Boise State, they're switching most of those actions. And so he realizes Stanley's going to be the matchup, so he just rises up over him. So a long time coming here for Degenhardt. These are the shots they're going to have to hit over the last 950. But Johnson, here's the switch. He gets it. Stanley, not comfortable being out that far, goes under the screen. And the scouting report says you got to go over the screen against Johnson.
Air ball nearly from a Douche. Osobor, great position to try and clean that up. Johnson hanging tough. Last touch off of Boise State.
Everybody playing so hard. Both of these teams crash the boards. Boise State #1 in the conference in offensive rebounding. Utah State #1 in defensive rebounding. So it's not surprising to see 4 or 5 guys at the rim. That's too open. They got away with one there, didn't they?
Most definitely wide open look. One of the few that seemingly haven't gone down as of late. And here's Degenhardt. Big effort last time they got together. 24 points, 4 rebounds. They certainly have prepared for him, but he bulls his way down low, giving up a few inches and powers past Johnson, who's down holding that left ankle, but he's now quickly on his feet. As Khalifa Sacco will return. So Johnson trying to walk this off, may have just rolled the ankle. And he's been huge tonight, 14 points.
No question.
And it's what he did in their first meeting, 13 points, 11 rebounds. Danny Sprinkle talked about the impact he made, a guy that maybe you wouldn't expect, and delivered in a major way. Falslev, a career high. 21 now for Mason Falslev.
Just unabated to the rim, and you don't see this Boise State defense struggle as much as they have in this one.
Douche swats that out of the air. It'll stay with the Broncos. Clock to 7. Whiting in trouble. At 2, Young letting fly. An air ball just tickles the net. Out of bounds.
Danny's Sprinkle pumping his fist, getting the crowd into it. He loves that defense. And what a drive. We've seen number 12 do this all night long. Look at the D. They collapse. You think you're to the rim. Greater.
Tomorrow on Fox, Caitlin Clark looks to make history and set the all-time scoring record as she leads second-ranked Iowa against Nebraska. Tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, only on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Big day for Mason Falslev, career high 21 points, so efficient too. Look at those numbers.
Yeah, only 11 shots to get 21 points. He's been so aggressive and played with such confidence. He's been attacking the rim, and that's not easy to do when you go up against Boise State. But he's also been extremely impressive at the defensive end. He's just blowing up so many plays, taking away passing lanes. He's been the star in this game, and what a response by Utah State. They were humbled their last time out on this floor. They knew how critical this game was to come out and play the best game they played all year, and they've been spectacular, but he's been the catalyst.
And he's building on the last couple. Even in those losses, he was a go-to. 14 in the loss to Nevada, 16 in the loss to San Diego State, and now the career high here, and they're in strong shape for a victory.
There's this 1-3-1 again that's caused so many teams trouble.
Falslev splits right through it, and an easy deuce for Sacco. Meadow back in for Boise State. This one starting to get away from the Broncos. Dagenhart right to work. Had so many big nights. And Rice says he's my security blanket, a go-to guy. We need a lot more of that. Falslev looking for more. He's got more! From deep. '72 points now. Aggies 17-1 when they at least reach 70. And yes, we're getting into ice cream territory as well here in Logan. 80 points the mark there. Rice drills another to try and slow things down.
Well, again, it's just been his night. Squares up, knocks it in. Going forward, he's going to be a big problem for the rest of the Mountain West. He plays both ends, a coach's dream, such energy. What'd you say? It's Culver's custard if they get 80 points. Everybody who's here can get a free one.
Correct, and what I'm told is as you get near 80, the chant for ice cream goes out. At 72, 631, I think we're in good shape.
Or do they stay open tonight?
That's a great question. We'll have to do some recon there. Happens win or loss, by the way, as we look at our national rankings here.
Yeah, this is the team that came out and just shocked the country at the Cayman Islands Classic. I mean, nobody had a clue what they even had, including Danny Sprinkle. I mean, he was just looking to put lineups together, get his guys together, go on a trip, and they go out and win that tournament. And now they come into one of the best leagues in the country, and they've shown tonight that they can win this league. Just spectacular numbers at both ends. Obviously, Great has been outstanding, but they're not a one-man team, and Brown can run the show. Falslev stepping up. Martinez has a ton of game. Got a great rhythm here.
Picked 9th in the preseason poll. No one knew what to make.
Yeah, you can't blame the
Utah
voters
State
for that.
Not at all. How do you pick a team to be this good when they've never played together and they have no returning points? Brown. It's all working. Brown from deep. Says he does the dirty work for this team. You won't see him with the big dunks. He'll do whatever they need. Stepping out there for the triple. He's got 18 and 8 rebounds, closing in on a double-double. Stanley able to sky for that one. But it is a 20-point lead for the Aggies. And now cutting it down to 18. The momentum here, all with the home team. Osobor tries to swat that one out, but they'll get him for a foul.
Yeah, look at your center is playing point guard, and your point guard's playing the wing. And those two guys just feed off of each other. They got so much chemistry going back years. And then Stanley, that's really good defense, but he gets it over the top. You know, as much as Boise State has struggled from three in this game, they've got to take some quick ones here, even in transition. Try to get this down to single digits and make something happen. Right now, Utah State just looks so explosive.
Each team over the limit, so we'll see free throws from here on out. At the 17th foul on the Aggies, 1-1 for Degenhart. And you're right, it will need to be some substantial rally here from the Broncos, with 5:12 left to try and put it together.
And all the top teams in this league have gone through growing pains in this conference. And we talk about Nevada. You know, they bounce back. Boise State now going through some turmoil. Utah State coming off back-to-back losses.
False left, tries to posterize Stanley. And that would have lifted the roof off the Glen Spectrum.
Well, I love it that he went for the flush. And I love the challenge as well by Stanley. Just two great competitors going at it.
Stanley said, look, it might be down big, but I'm not about to be on a poster here.
Absolutely.
And you hit on this emergence of false left, and you think about the teams around the league preparing for Utah State, and you certainly went first to Great Osobor. Ian Martinez, Darius Brown, and Duge and others is another guy now that is so dangerous.
Yeah, that's well said. I mean, he's extremely dangerous, and we keep repeating, he plays both ends, right? What he does defensively does not show up on a stat sheet, but he is constantly out harassing guards, and he is no fun to play against. And just look at his hands right there. That's all him. That's just him being scrappy. What a night.
Right, and lost in all this, Great Osobor, just 6 points, 2 of 8 from the field. They haven't needed him. This is that depth that Danny Sprinkle was talking about. It'll take others. Both coaches felt that way. Brown, a patient attack as they work for Osobor. False lev. Denied. Stanley with the block and a foul.
Yeah, here's the defense we're talking about. Just look at this. You get over the top of the screen. You get your hands up. You slap down on it. Now your teammate comes up with the steal. It doesn't show up on any box sheet, but we know if we've coached or we're here watching the game, those are the things he does all night long. It's amazing, and his growth has been incredible. And then, oh, by the way, he draws the foul. There's like 2 of him on the court tonight. In
the story of tonight's game, you'll hear about Mason False-Levs. His 24 points, his 4 rebounds. You're exactly right. No one is going to rave about the backcourt tip away, but it's what makes him so valuable.
Well, so many teams are running these side ball screen actions and these ball screen continuation offenses. And if you take away that first pass or you fight over those screens on those handoffs, etc., it just makes life so miserable for an offense. That's what he does so many times during the game, and that doesn't show up. But when you're scouting these guys, you say, look, number 12 is a serious problem. You got to screen him. You got to be careful with the ball around him. He's a pit bull.
And this crowd does not let up as Roddy Anderson is fouled out. So a key piece missing now for the Broncos. That's a correction. Anderson controlling the basketball. Out to Osobor. The run out. Two-hand hammer. Rice. Osobor there with the board. Under 4 to play. Aggies pulling away in this one. The ice cream chant rings out. They're 2 points away. Brown, the give and a travel.
Well, great Osobor. Look, he's the anchor of this defense, but it is so fun to watch him play in person. He is so fast, gets out and runs, doesn't use the dribble, hanging on rims. Brown knows what to do with it. And this has been a blowout. Ice cream on the line coming back. Don't miss it.
They are loving life right now in Logan. 78-59, Utah State in a rout right now over the Broncos. And if things hold as they are, well, it'll be the Aggies in sole possession of first place in the Mountain West with UNLV upending New Mexico, at least from a ranking standpoint. That's an upset. In a league that is so deep. 3 in the top 25, 2 more receiving votes, including this Boise State squad.
Well, they're going to take 6 teams to the big dance, but these teams at the top want to win this regular season title. And not a lot of positives tonight for Boise State, but they have an outstanding basketball team. And they are tough and rugged. They typically play well on the road. But Utah State could not have played any better up to this point at both ends of the court.
Yeah, for as frustrating as tonight has been for Boise State, as Rice can't hit on the turnaround, totally plausible they win this whole thing in the end. That's how tough they are.
Absolutely. They've got a lot of warriors on their team, a lot of veterans. Shots weren't falling tonight. Give the Aggies defense a ton of credit, but these guys get a little time off. They're going to regroup. They get back home. This team can beat anybody, and they're going to make a good run in the NCAA tournament if they can stay healthy.
Shot clock to 3. Martinez. No good. Omar Stanley has fouled out for Boise State a few moments ago. And a whistle here. 2:11 to go. And despite this one well in hand, Danny Sprinkle still working the sidelines. It's one of the reasons Darius Brown followed Coach Sprinkle here to Utah State. Appreciates the standard he holds Brown to. So when he first joined him in Montana State, that first summer in Bozeman, it was long. Sprinkle was on him every day. It was exhausting. It paid off. That's why he wanted to be a part of things here in Logan. Meadow good on the first. I mentioned Boise State. They have what should be an easier chunk of their schedule coming up. A bye, then Fresno State, San Jose State before they go to Wyoming. Of course, it gets much more difficult after that. This is the Mountain West after all, but a chance to catch their breath and perhaps regroup. Osobor down low. And Dagenhart controlling there. Well, ice cream seemed to be a given, and now 1:35 to go and 2 points away. Making the fans sweat it out here a little bit. But this Spectra magic.
They're going to keep going back inside. He wants great Osobor. Hey, this game's out of hand and over, but you can't go up soft. He wants to get him one more time and keeps telling him to power through it.
Here's Brown on the drive, looking for the lob to Osobor. Powers it home, and one. Give him the ice cream.
Well, Great went up a little soft the time before, but not that time. Gets hit right in the arm. He's exhausted. but he knows a cup of Culver's is coming in a few hours.
And they keep stats on such things. It is Great Ossabaur's second ice cream basket of the season.
If you're Danny Sprinkle, and you would have said you're up 19 with a minute to go and Ossabaur only has 10 points, right? You would have taken that any night of the week. He said we had to have everybody step up. Falls left, 25 points. Brown with 18. Johnson, big plays. They all came to play in this one.
I thought you were going to make a Sprinkles ice cream connection there for sure.
I didn't think of it. Good one.
You mentioned the double figures, though. Utah State 10-1 when they get 4 in double figures like they've had tonight. Falslev, the man of the match. Couldn't hit there from 3.
Well, great job tonight, Greg. It's fun working with you.
Yes, sir, Jess.
Good job, Bobby, and all the crew and everyone on the camera. What a great environment for college basketball. Elite coaching in this league. What a year for the Mountain West.
Such a fun place to see some basketball. Spectrum Magic, the real deal. The Aggies dominate 80-61, and they take the season series with Boise State, and they take control of the Mountain West into first place all alone. They packed the house tonight. They honored the legend Stu Morrill. This was sold out weeks in advance. They waited in line and they were not disappointed. Danny Sprinkle said, we need reasons to keep this crowd involved. They gave them all tonight. 4 in double figures as they take the victory and move to 20-4. It's their 33rd 20-win season in program history. That'll do it for us here from Logan. For Jess Settles and our entire crew, Greg Mess was saying so long from Glen Spectrum, where our final score is Utah State 80, Boise State 61. This has been a presentation of the Fox Sports Networks, your home for all your college basketball action. Have a great rest of your night.